Good afternoon. Let's make a start on this session. Welcome to the session on Global Oceans Governance, Science Policy Interface. I'm Warren Young. I'll be the chair for this session. Let me begin by saying some things about the plan for this session. This is not a conventional session in the sense of a series of more or less scientific papers followed by questions and responses. What we have in mind for this session is what you might think of as a town hall meeting focused on practical ways forward in addressing the growing problems of ocean governance, and specifically what might be the role of the Earth System Governance Project with respect to ocean governance. The oceans, as most of you know, cover more than 70% of the surface of the planet, and yet they typically receive less attention on the part of people who are concerned about governance questions than the terrestrial areas. And yet the oceans increasingly are in peril. This is a consequence of a number of interacting forces involving over-harvesting, pollution, invasive species, habitat destruction, and overlying all of this, the impacts of global climate change and the prospects of acidification. Many people are concerned about these issues, what to do about the perils of the oceans. This involves lots of people in the policy community, from UNDP, people involved with the Global Environment Facility, the World Bank, the large marine ecosystem networks, UNESCO, IFC, and so on. There's also lots of interest in the science community, and especially in the natural science community, where several very large-scale projects are underway dealing with issues of the oceans. But so far, we haven't found a very effective way to join together the concerns and interests of the science community and those of the policy community to address the problems of the oceans in a practical and effective way. It seems to be on the part of many people in both the policy community and in the science community an increasing acknowledgement that to address this problem will in some way involve dealing with questions of governance. And yet, once that acknowledgement is made, people in these communities seem not to know how to take the next step. They say, okay, governance is a critical question, but we are not experts on governance. We don't know exactly what the next step should be. Whereas this community, the Earth System Governance community, does have expertise on issues of governance and thinking about the effectiveness of governance systems or the design of governance systems, and may have some practical contribution to make to joining together the policy communities and the science communities around the agenda of addressing the increasing perils of the ocean. So our plan here is to have several quite short initial presentations. We will have an initial presentation from Robin Mahan from the University of the West Indies, who will talk in relatively general terms about these emerging issues of ocean governance. Then we'll have a short presentation from Lucia Fanning from Dalhousie University in Canada, who will draw our attention to a specific case, using that case in a way to illustrate some of the complexities and some of the problems facing those thinking about ocean governance. And then Ruben Zondervan, who of course needs an introduction to any of you, will make a brief presentation talking about the capacities of the Earth System Governance Project and how we might move forward in addressing these questions through the mechanism or through under the auspices of the Earth System Governance Project. Our intention is that these initial presentations would not take more than a maximum of 30 minutes. And that would leave, and we'll run through those, and that will leave a substantial block of time in which we encourage a vigorous and constructive discussion about not only what Ruben has to say about practical ways forward, but other brainstorming ideas that you all may have. We would be quite happy if we came out of the session at the end of our time with some more or less explicit ideas about things we could and should do as next steps. So it's not like we're going to take a vote or anything of that kind, but if there is a kind of an emerging sense within the group here about the merits of certain steps that we might take, that would be certainly a very desirable outcome from our point of view. So without further ado, let me start into the initial presentations, and we'll